do. First order of business would be the minutes from the July 18th meeting. You guys had an opportunity to review those minutes.
Motion to approve is presented.
Motion by Sam Hutchins to approve the minutes, second by Jerry Hahn. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Next would be your bills list and additional bill list and transfers. And on the bills list, I have a request that came in last night. On the fellow that's doing the tuck pointing at Wickland, he's an independent contractor. He's been there 2 weeks. He submitted a bill for $14,532. And I've looked at it's 2 weeks worth of work. If anybody wants to look at the details of it. Ron and I have talked about it. He's been out there for full 2 weeks. And that's part of the grant program that the Trigg family made available to us. And I'd hate for him to go another 2 weeks and not get a check as a small independent contractor. So I want to add that to the bills list. And I want to get a link. $14,532.
Is that 80 hours of work?
78 and a half hours of work.
That's pretty close. He's done a nice job.
Yeah, it looks good what he's doing.
6 or 7 games out there.
No, that's all the salaries combined. So I'm going to add that to the bills list. And if any other questions on the bills,
I make a motion to pay the bills and transfers as presented.
a motion from Bernard Ice to pay the bills. Can I get a second to that? Second by Jerry. Any discussion, guys? Any questions?
No.
All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Thank you. Next will be your treasurer's settlement. This was mailed to the magistrates, an annual treasurer's settlement with a vendor listing. Vendor listing, do we still have to publish the full?
No.
We don't have to publish
We
that?
don't have to publish either one, but we do publish a notice that's available on our website, and also from me if anyone wants a copy.
So you got it where you were not going to jail?
I think I've got us all covered.
On our part, we accepted this is a matter of public record pending audit. So we would need a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's settlement.
A motion by Sam, second by Keith. Further discussion or questions? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? The motion will carry.
Good job, Rhonda.
That's pretty tough for all that, yeah. Samuel's Hall improvements. John? You guys are aware of this project?
This is a project out of Fiscal. We have about $165,000 in the budget. We got a $100,000 grant, which is included in that 175. There are a couple of different sets. If you guys want to look at it, there's just a couple plans. I emailed a full plan set if you want to take a look at it too.
I'm good.
Okay. So basically what that is, there's a full plan set if you want to see it. So basically on the exterior of the building, replacing the metal on the front of the building, put like a wood truss canopy on the front, repainting the ceiling or the exterior metal, and then do a little asphalt paving in the back, replacing the HVAC unit. On the interior of the building, put an epoxy coated floor, paint the, like, basically it's gonna be exposed so you can paint HVAC
We'll
ducts.
gut that old bathroom and tear it out.
Tear out all those bathrooms, put new bathrooms in, put a new kitchen in. So it's
That's on the, if you look at the building, the right side.
the right side, the bigger section.
And then do an addition on the rear?
Yes, do an addition on the rear, about 18 by 20 addition on the rear.
And that addition is primarily for our Feed America program where we can store our foods.
Not gonna do a walk-in or anything?
No,
Not
because the
necessarily.
freezers we're doing real good now. And
Okay.
we're managing our numbers a little bit better. And we have 2 box freezers, chest freezers, and they're working out perfect. And St. Vincent de Paul has a backup for us now at the food pantry. So if we need additional space, that's been beneficial. So we're in good shape. We thought about that, Sam, but I don't think we need that additional expense.
Okay.
So what I'm asking the court to do is advertise for bid the project. I think you got a few more
A few
details
more
down there.
details to work out.
But otherwise,
Fair board review it, get that done this week, and hopefully advertise later this week or next week.
Need a motion to advertise that project by Jerry Hahn. Second by Jeff Lear. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. If you guys have any suggestions for John or Keith Willett between now and the next couple of weeks, let us know. I know you've looked at it, but I think it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing they're gonna make the properties look a lot
Look a lot
better.
better.
Gonna try to get this done this year.
Yes.
Yes. And there'll be some small contractors looking in the work. Okay, update on Whitman. Okay, we have, with Brad's help, we have contracted with a engineering firm to give us a structural review of the property, to look at the structural review. We most certainly want to do everything in our powers to save the oldest part of the structure. That being, I'm speaking loud enough, Dave, for you here, okay, I want to make sure. To make sure we can salvage that part at minimum, then we'll look at the rest of the property. Insurance adjuster has been on site. Not only the insurance adjuster, but the fire investigator as well with the insurance company. So they're doing the whole shebang. Anything else to report on, Brad?
They should be down this week. Our structural engineer is a third party.
$25.
Start investigating.
That's worth every penny.
We'll see where it goes from there.
I mean, for as hot as it got from the exterior, the look of it, inside looking at it, it's charred, but it's a
Yeah.
long way from being destroyed, I think. I think we're in pretty good shape on that.
I hope so.
Even chimney up there, that one side, you know, where it burned out,
Yeah.
part of the roof, it seemed, might.
Hopefully what we get out of the report is this is what can be saved and this is what can't be saved.
Yeah.
Got awful hot in there.
Any questions, David? David, any questions? Yeah. Well, I think we're heading down the right path and we're taking our time, not getting super big hurry to make sure we do it the right way. Thank you. This one, guys, give you a report on that. Next would be possibility of a new lease with the Fine Arts of Bardstown Society. In order to get grants from time to time, and right now they're on a month-by-month basis, I'm asking the court to extend their lease for a year, and then with an additional year, so basically a 2-year automatic renewal each year. There was some discussion about trying to get a little more rent from the property, but I think with the arts program
They don't have.
on about living by the skin of their teeth, like most arts programs do, I think the $500 a month would continue to be sufficient. I would like fiscal court to approve that lease. Any recommendations from the court?
I'll make a motion to approve that lease as presented.
Thank you, Bernard. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Thank you, Keith. Second by Keith Metcalf. Any further discussion?
Yeah, how come they're just on month to month?
Because their lease expired,
How long's it been expired?
probably a year or two.
Why did they do that one?
Why? Because we just never did. It's one of those things that never did renew it.
According to that, it's been expired since the 2013.
Well,
4 years.
Yeah, but didn't automatically renew one year.
1 year, just
One year.
about like what this one was.
But anyway,
Still 3.
it was month by month.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this, they can apply for grants. When you apply for grants, the people that like the Sazerac grant they received last couple of years, they'd like to know that they're giving the money to something that's going to be there for a little while.
Sorry.
Motion been made, second, all approved, say aye. Disapprove, motion carries unanimously. With a late aye.
Tell them to keep us doing a good job over there.
Next would be landfill solid waste report. John?
We opened bids for a high lift last Friday.
Compactor.
Compactor.
You've got your high lift next to
Yeah.
it.
Okay, with compactor last Friday, we had 2 people bid, Team Boone and Wayne Supply. Two nice pieces of machinery. Did a lot of time on the phone talking to other landfills that had each piece of machinery, kind of analyzing the different pieces, different benefits of each machine. The delivery time for the cat would be 30 to 60 days versus is a Tana machine. That would be 100, 120 days. That machine, the Tana machine, was a little bit cheaper. But based on delivery time, parts and service, the diamond tip wheels of the cat, the resale value of the cat, I would recommend getting the cat machine.
What are we leasing the compactor for now?
We're releasing, we have a backup compactor.
So we really don't have a lease.
We're not,
We don't have a lease.
We own it, yeah.
We actually looked for a compactor to lease initially, and it was going to be, just to get it shipped to a place, it's almost,
Required to have a backup.
Well, you're required to have a plan in place that within 24 hours it's sitting there. The reality of shipping one within 24 hours is tough, to be honest with you. Can be done. Do money anyway. Yes.
Jumping Jack won't do it.
No.
To the court, I review this with a very much an open mind, because I'm always looking at new vendors and how we can improve ourselves. But based on the service that we received from Wayne Supply in the past, especially go back to the service we received on the high lift when the motor went bad, and Wayne Supply kicked in and released a machine and paid for it for 2 months, was $11,000. They also put a new motor in our high lift, so I expect that service to continue. And as John's outlined in his email to you guys, the delivery time, parts and service, diamond tip wheels, and the resale value are reasons to take the bid, even though it was about $20,000, $21,000 difference there.
Is this compactor heavier?
It's a heavy machine, the cat's heavy.
Cat is heavier than the top?
Yes. Really, if you look at dollars per weight, it's cheaper per pound of the machine with the cat, if you look at it that way.
The cat's a 90,000 pound unit?
Yes,
Is
about
that right?
90.
About 90.
And what's the other one?
The other one is 83 was what they advertised, but by the time you put the blade, it might be 85 or so, 86.
What about the benefits of the additional compaction that they're claiming on the Tana?
That was one of the things that caught my eye to begin with. I've made other calls to other landfills, and they said basically get the same compaction. I talked to like the regional sales guy from Tana and said, look, if this machine's out there, basically every landfill does an annual survey. So with that, you should be able to say, if it gets that much better compaction, if it gets 20% more better compaction, you should be able to see anybody that got that machine. Say if they bought one in 2013, you should have 3 years prior of whatever old machine you used to use, and then you should have like the next 3 years or whatever, just to analyze that, and they weren't able to provide that. They do have an agreement that, or a contract basically saying that they will buy it back if it doesn't get that compaction, but the expense that you would have to analyze to prove that you would have that additional compaction was not
Far
feasible.
overweight, yeah.
Far overweight, and the way they look at it, they're saying pounds per square yard, which doesn't really make sense compared, it should be pounds per cubic yards. So.
Well, the other issue I have with the buyback, to be honest with you, if you read the details of it, it says specifically, if waste does not meet 10% improvement, we'll buy the unit back at full value less 1/60th of every month the unit was operated. Well, if you operate it over a year's time, that's a 20% deduct.
Yeah.
Well, I'd buy the machine back for 20% less after a year. I mean, so that was the one detail that jumped off the page on the compaction guarantee that I just was uncomfortable with that particular statement.
You know,
on that.
I actually, the Tana machine looks like a nice machine.
Oh, yeah.
It really does. But I contacted a couple of landfills, big landfills, and asked them why they don't consider using, I don't think there's a landfill in Kentucky that uses the Tana. I might be wrong, but I could not, when I talked to Waste Management, I talked to Santec, who operates the Elizabethtown landfill and several other landfills. They all use the Caterpillar product for various reasons. And there's not a single landfill I know that uses the other machine, or any other machines in Kentucky.
What color is this Tana machine? I've never
It's
seen
yellow.
it.
It's yellow. Yeah.
It's yellow.
That's a nice looking machine.
Gonna be garbage colored anymore.
It's gonna be nasty looking if you.
But, I mean,
My
Yeah,
only
it's
concern is
outside.
we see a lot of those out there. It looks like a really good machine.
Yeah. Certain parts, it's just like a lot of things, I guess certain parts of the country, it might be a regional thing.
I'll make a motion, we purchase a cat compactor.
Motion's been made by Bernard Ice to purchase the cat as bid, second by Jerry Hahn. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye. Disapprove? Motion will carry. Thank you, gentlemen, both of you, for your interest. Anything else, John, on landfill?
That's all I had.
Road Department report, Brad, we have one blacktop road to do.
Okay, Sam, you want to submit it?
Have you guys a copy right before it started?
The Ed Powell, where we did the widening
I think that's every managed to hit their limit.
from Ryan Court to,
Basically, Bryan Drive.
from Bryan Drive to Ryan Court. The part that was overlaid, or widened, is what I want to overlay, at a cost of $24,775.
Motion to approve
Motion to approve that.
by Sam
Elaine, you have a
Hutchins.
copy of that?
I gave Elaine a copy, didn't I?
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
Is there a second? Okay, so we got a buzz. Second by Bert Knight.
No man's good. Awkward silence.
I'll leave hanging out.
Wow.
That's okay, leave me hanging.
All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove?
That part's what matters,
What's that?
that aye.
Aye. Rest of your report, Brad.
Okay. 2 full rounds have been completed in all districts for bush hogs. We're starting in our 3rd district. We've been in there for probably 4 or 5 days now. Back down on 1 tractor again. Some of you guys know, some shuttle gears again, same issue we had a year or 2 ago with that exact same tractor. So it's been sent off and we get back hopefully in a week or so. Back at it again.
Was there any warranty to that a year ago?
No,
It's
already on
what,
Street.
8 years old now?
Yeah, but a year worth of, they just had it done a year
No,
ago.
you don't really want to.
No,
No.
we buy a transmission for a car to get a warranty.
Maybe 30 days.
90 days.
But it's a shuttle shift, it's not actually a transmission.
Does that go out of y'all's tractors?
But they're not bush hogging the side.
Bush hogging.
I have asked that question, is our tractor wearing out? Is it some other issue I need to worry about? And I didn't get the answer, to be honest.
From the, you talked to the dealer itself?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Are they gonna be able to tell? What would cause that to go out, Bert?
Then
So,
I think that's where
that's what I'm saying, that,
Hydraulic pressure.
right.
How much does it cost to get fixed, Brad?
Talk to y'all.
It's $200.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Okay. Have you ever had one go out there?
He doesn't bush hog the side.
Yeah.
It's probably, I don't use it like that every
Yeah,
day.
but what would cause that to go out?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, because the transmission go out.
We, on the shuttle shift, like I say, most tractors, most people park their tractors, they wear them out. I mean,
Okay, boom on, we're in District 5, Sam, we've done portion of River Road, we finished up Hilton Lane, we're back down on River Road.
District 2.
District 2, I'm sorry.
There we go.
Then from there, Jeff, we're into your district, so we're moving that way. Like I said, we're completely done with the Ed Powell widening, it's a good project, and once we get it overlaid, I'll give you guys pictures and you'll see how that one turned out. All signs have been installed, that's been requested. Done cross sections on Yates Cooney Neck, South Stillwell Roads that had to be opened, I talked to you about that. Did a drop box at Nally Court and Eastland Drive. Did I copy you on that picture, Jerry? I think I did. Dean Cells on that. Just of an issue we had, that turned out really nice. Just different boards and whatnot. Did one on Stonehouse, D-Head Road, trying to prepare for asphalt coming. And whatnot. I need from you guys, in about 3 weeks, we're gonna pull the trigger on doing our patchwork and our chip seals.
Very thin.
Yes, I got you.
I got 7 roads right now.
Chip seal, if you have a road you want chip seal.
Brad, let me see that list before we
Yeah, exactly.
put it down.
But Kroger and I are gonna try to get that lined out, because we need to get on that chip
Most chip
seal
seal
fairly soon.
Before it gets cool.
Before it gets cool. Before it gets cool, that's actually right. And that's it, really. I got 2 subdivisions I'm watching over. Sam knows about Millwood and Castle Cove. I'm keeping him up to date on where we're at, but accepting them into the system.
Speaking of overlay, when are they going to start overlaying?
Now, you knew that question was coming, Brad.
I knew it was coming.
I want everybody to know when it's coming.
Good question.
The dead honest truth is probably a month out still.
This is not good.
It's August.
They're,
August is here.
August is here, a
End of
month out,
August,
that's
September.
September,
Still
and
80 degrees.
then October is cold weather, that's out.
I mean, I don't work for Mayo, can't speak for Mayo, but they're giving me pretty good indication they're not going to get to all the paving that we've given them. Jeff still got 2 roads from last year that hadn't been paved yet, Creel and Spalding.
I guess the question is we going to get to any of it?
I know some of you have talked to Mike or Mark. Why don't you let me sit down and talk to them in the next week or so, and give you a report at the next court meeting.
Sounds good.
I will do that.
What I've asked them to do is, if they're in the areas where they're paving, or if they promise other areas, to please get some of our roads before they move out. Like, for instance, Jeff, you may be in a good position for them to get some of your stuff, because they're out on Wolf Road in now. It makes sense. Barner, same way with Upper Slang. If they're out at the airport, there's no reason why they can't, once they finish that job, get a road or so for us to kind of take some of the heat off.
Think of the positives. Next year's election year. And about March or April, you're out there blacktopping all these roads and May primary. To think of the positive side, guys.
Okay, if they can't get to them this year, how they gonna get to them next year?
First on the list next year.
Assuming they're gonna get to them next year.
I'm just trying to lighten up the load.
Yeah. Trying to ease the
Got
tension.
a
Yeah.
number for
I'd a whole lot rather it be done now.
I'll talk to Mark first.
That's it, dude.
Dorcas Jail report.
Okay, today we have a total of 153 inmates. We have 7 of these in Hardin County. We have 1 in home incarceration. We have 34 state inmates. We have 2 serving weekends. We've got 1 out to court in another county. So we have an in-house total of 142. That's all I have to report on what we're at.
I'm getting a lot of maintenance done down there with the new maintenance
Yes,
guy.
yes, they are.
EMS report, Joe.
One item on my list, I'd like to get approval from the court to purchase a power cot to replace one of the older manual cots. The price is $17,630. I'll point out that this is $3,000 off of new price. This is a demo unit with full warranty.
Aren't you gonna have to do some plumbing to the truck to make this work?
Electrical, this is part of the charging.
So how many power cots will this make us now?
This will be the fifth one.
Fifth one, okay. And
Now, this is not the power load system.
not the load, but the cot
It's just
itself.
the cot itself.
Listen,
Oh, that's what you have to do on power load. That's why
Power
you
load,
need
you
to
have
plumb
to
the
modify the
truck.
truck.
Okay.
for the median, this basically is a cot that has a battery where you can push it, a button, and it will lift itself without the employee having to raise it up and hurting their back. And it's kind of, I think, helped reduce
Oh, yeah.
our workers' comp claims over the last 5
Let's just
years
put
since we
one on
started the
every
program.
No,
So
we're still 3 short.
Okay.
we're working toward that goal, though.
Yeah.
I make a
good
motion.
idea.
Thank you, Jerry. Motion been made to accept Stryker's proposal.
I'll second.
Second by Sam. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? And motion will carry. Okay, thank you. Tyler, recreation report. You wanted to talk about a machine of some sort.
All right, we can start with that. I put in y'all's mailboxes, a John Deere's a 1200A bunker rake to help with dragging and maintaining the baseball fields. We've been using that retrofitted X-Mark, and we've already had to replace the motor on it. The motor's was a used motor that we put on there, and it's still having some rough times. That is a huge piece of equipment coming from Reynolds Farm Equipment in Nicholasville. Nelson County High School just received one from this company, and I went out and looked at it to see their work, because they, take it completely apart, check it out from head to toe on what's going on, and they did a really nice job on it. The only problem, he quoted me $5,900 on the machine. The mechanics got it in there, I think, last Thursday or Friday when he called me. There is some wear on the transmission, and they're very uncomfortable about wanting to give us that piece of equipment with that wear. He said that transmission is $2,000, and he said that he's willing to eat 1,000 of it if we take 1,000 of it, or we can take the machine as is, and he would take 1,000 off that.
What about, what is a new machine like that?
A brand new one is double the 59, so it's going to be close. It'll be close to $12,000-$13,000 brand new.
Yeah. But is that, we can buy it, I know sometimes we can buy off a state price contract, because golf courses buy them.
That would be close to state
Price contract?
State price, and that would be it plain Jane. That would be no drag piece on it, and that would be no rake underneath the.
I saw a picture and the machine didn't look bad.
The one you're getting now has the rake and drag piece on it.
Yes, it'll already have that all on surface with it, with the hydraulic lifter.
So you had another $1,000 of that, so
It'd be
$69.
$7,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the
But
way
your new one was
approached us
13.
years ago, and you showed him, I asked him, how he took it for a test drive.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to drive it home for your day.
Tell me, let's think long-term here, and, you know, you and I briefly discussed that the other day of the new machine, a new machine versus the used machine. I'm not so sure we'd be better off, you know, with a new machine.
We're halfway there.
And I've got X number of dollars in the budget for capital expenses and machines and so forth. I'm not so sure we'd be better off with a new machine.
How much warranty would be with the new machine?
The new machine is probably, I want to say 18 to 24 months, I think is.
Once you find all
Once
that
you
out.
get all that
bring it back to
information
us.
out for us and get it back to us.
What's the life expectancy? How many years?
That one that, I
No,
want to
sir.
say probably, I mean, as long as a lawnmower, because I mean, it's pretty much the same setup. There's nothing really different besides it's got 3 big wheels and a forward and reverse on it with the gas. I mean, that's the only thing that's on it. And it's got a hydraulic, electric hydraulic button to raise and lower the back drag. That's all that's on it.
You know, our field, I mean, we're gonna be doing this for a long time, so let's bring it back to the court and if it costs us $20,000 or less, you get a quote on the state price contract. If you need some help, Brad and I can help you look that up, on the state price contract and talk to them about that.
Okay, I'll give him a call.
I would feel, especially when you mentioned the transmission, if it was just this and the machine was good, but transmission problem, I don't wanna deal with that.
Motors don't be the same thing.
He didn't see that, like when he drove it, he didn't even.
I appreciate it, honestly.
But the guy called me, he said he just felt very uncomfortable and would feel a lot better.
Well, he's seen something in there, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like it, and he said his mechanic did a good job of going thoroughly through them, so.
So probably what you'll find is the time we do that research, you get back to you guys by the next court meeting, that unit will be gone.
And that'd be fine.
I'm just so you guys know, if you say, nah, let's go back to the other one.
You really think in 2 weeks they'll have the
Yeah.
transmission and everything put back in this thing?
They're probably working on it right now.
They're working on it right now.
Is this the one Nelson County traded in?
No, Nelson County got one from them.
What do you mean by got one? Got a new one, got a used one?
A used one, like, same thing, that's why I went and checked out their work, see what type of stuff that they did to it, how.
They lease them?
But when you read
Yeah, it's good.
you're not going away. Baseball's not going away.
No, so we
Something
told,
last.
Almost something's gonna be there.
How many hours do you know on this?
this one, I think it was like, I can't remember, I had it broken down at the office, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
We kind of put that, the one we have currently together. We put parts from one
It's
to
done
another.
good.
It's done a good job.
You guys realize how we built that? We took the mower, took the deck off, took 2 people, took bolts, welded it to it. I mean, we faked it to make it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looked pretty good.
Like the conversation that you had and I had the other day, why did you buy a new truck instead of a used truck?
Yeah.
Why did we buy a new compactor instead of a used compactor? You know, long term.
And Tyler made it work. I mean, it's working, so.
I'd rather do that.
Besides that, we had a baseball tournament this weekend to help fund the Little League football, our youth football league. Turned out really well. They made some money to help out, offset some costs since their number's gonna be down this year. Besides that, soccer's gonna be starting up. Gonna start painting fields. As long as that rain will hold off this week, we'll start painting fields this week.
Okay. Okay, under older new business, Rhonda and I received Friday afternoon sometime, the tax information from the state. Due to the information coming in at the time it is, we're going to have some special meetings to deal with this issue. Rhonda, why don't you go over it, please?
Okay. You want to go over the compensating rate and all that?
You can briefly touch on it. Yeah.
Okay. The state has proposed that our compensating rate is 14.0. Our current tax rate is 14.3 cents and has been since 2007. And I believe the judge and I are going to propose that we keep tax rates the same at 14.3. And in order to do that, because it's higher than the compensating rate, we'll have to have a public hearing.
But
So
less than the
last year.
4%.
It's, right. we're not going to take the 4% increase. The budget for the current year is based on 14.3 cent tax rate, staying the same. Last year, we did the same thing. If you remember, we had to have a public hearing because we're taking a tax rate that's higher than the compensating rate, even though we're not raising the rate. So we'll have to do that again this year.
Let me stop. For the media, I'm proposing the tax rate stay the same. But it will generate more than the revenue that is the compensating rate being the same amount of revenue as last year. But it'll be less than the 4% increase that we're allowed.
Who determines that?
I want to make sure that the headlines don't say, we're raising tax rates.
They reviewed information from the TVA along with the tax rates that we had in place last year. There's a formula.
They do that according to new growth and new this.
$64 million in new growth.
Last year?
How many million of that was at Tyson?
And how many millions of that was the distilleries?
Yeah.
We're not getting a
Not
penny.
just because that, it's as a general.
When you look at your report, you'll see the distilled spirits storage is up about $55-60 million.
They're pretty complicated formula and they do it wrong. But
I agree with you, Jeff.
Actually, I think if you look at, they changed the way they did the formula this year. If you
I haven't
look at it,
looked
I think
Maybe they
you'll like it a little
did it
bit.
right. We get somebody in there.
I remember a couple,
I agree with it more this year than I have in prior years.
I
so.
remember a couple of years ago.
Skeptical of that one.
They're doing it right.
Okay, so once you outline the dates here, make sure that we're all on the same page, Matthew.
Okay. We're proposing a special meeting next Tuesday on the 8th to go over the tax rates and to establish that we're going to set the tax rate at 14.3 cents unless you guys decide to do differently.
And you can at that meeting.
At that meeting. If we do decide to go forward keeping tax rates the same, then we will have to advertise for public hearing. We have to advertise once a week for 2 consecutive weeks. And then after that second publication, we have to have the hearing within 7 to 10 days. So basically, we're going to have a special meeting on the 8th and then again on the 24th, Thursday the 24th.
And the reason we have to do that is to get the rate set for the sheriff to print them by the 15th of September.
So it'd be.
Yeah, we'll get it to you the 5th.
So we have a
The
special.
regular meeting will be on the 15th and then a special on the 24th.
That's as soon as we
We'll
get
have a
it done.
special meeting on the
How
8th,
long?
On the 8th, 15th.
our regular meeting on the 15th,
And then on the
and then
24th.
on the 24th, which is a Thursday, we'll have a special meeting, do a first reading on tax rates on that date, so that we can advertise and do second reading on our regularly scheduled meeting for Tuesday, September 5th.
How come you're doing the 24th instead of the 14th, the 24th?
Because of the 7 to 10 day provision that's required when we do a public hearing for tax rates. It's a little different than the ordinance reading. When we advertise for the tax rates and do the public hearing, we're required to hold that hearing within no less than 7, no more than 10 days after the second advertisement. I don't know why, so just kind of throws our calendars.
As long as you ain't raising taxes.
And we are not. Yeah, all of this to keep tax rates the same.
The 64
Say that a
million,
little louder.
the 64 million you're talking about in new growth, how much is that as tax?
All that, we gain all that. Yeah. 64 million. That's not a lot of money.
It's a whole lot to me.
Well, let me say, well,
It might not be to you.
let me finish. When you look at the 2.7 billion in total assessed value property in Nelson County, I'm going back in history now, 619 million in 1994. 619 million. And we're at 2.7 billion today. That's a lot of growth. In several years, at least 8 of those years, maybe 9, we had over 100 million of new growth. Right there, almost right, step. So 64 is a nice number, it's a steady number. A lot of communities would would love to have that growth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna say 100 counties would love to have that growth. But it's going good, and we should be able to use the revenue from that new growth and help keep taxes steady for everybody. And look at the Still Spirits assessment. We put last year's assessment, I think it's on the 3rd page, maybe? I don't know how you had it.
Front page.
I've got 2 pages there.
2 pages?
On top. The 2nd page was last year's assessments.
This year's Distilled Spirits assessment is 700, let's see, I'm sorry. I'm going to get 555 million,
226,000.
and last year's was 490. So it's 65 million just in Distilled Spirits, extra storage product.
And they're not through building that, right?
No, they're not doing that. So that helps, keeps everybody, keeps all of our revenue strong and going down the right path. I'm excited about this year. You know, we had a good year last year, and I think this year will be even better.
To do 2 more.
Okay, everybody okay with that? Understand this? If you can't make the special meetings, all I need is a quorum. But if it's a problem, let's let us know.
We learned to be here.
I'll cancel my vacation, I'll have that.
Yeah, it's an every day.
Any other old new business put forward? Anybody have anything? Yes, sir.
These all 9 o'clock meetings?
Yes, it will. Yeah. That way the guys can get back to work. The ones that, there's 1 or 2 still working.
Oh, I see.
Hey, Jim,
I think only 2, to be honest with you.
I know 2.
I just don't.
Anybody else have anything?
Sam, you know.
Motion to adjourn.
Didn't work for years.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Gary. Is there a second? Second by Sam. All approve, say aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Rhonda, for working on that this morning on the scheduling.